Morning. Welcome to the E3 Weekly Market Report. I'm Pat McClatchy. We have coming out right now exports. Let's start with cotton and look at export sales there. A number similar to last week, 86,400 running bales. That's up 2% from the previous week, but down 48% from the previous 4-week average. Turkey took 25,900 bales. Pakistan took 15,100 bales, and China took 12,200 running bales. Looking at any other news here. All right, let's look at the reaction. Cotton was down 10 just before this report. Cotton right now is down 33, so it's not taking this report very well. Let's go now to soybeans. Net sales of 271,500 running bales. That's down 34% from the previous week and down 43% from the 4-week average. Let's see the breakdown. Indonesia took 78,600 metric tons. The Netherlands took 70,000 metric tons, and unknown destinations took 63,000 metric tons. Just before this report, soybeans were up a penny and a half. Right now, soybeans are up a half. Going next to corn, net sales of 790,600 metric tons. That's down 2% from the previous week and down 27% from the 4-week average. The breakdown shows Taiwan took 266,000 metric tons. South Korea took 127,000 metric tons, and Japan took 126,000 metric tons. Corn, just before the report, was down a half. It's still down a half, so no change. Going to wheat, 317,200 metric tons. That's down 14% from the previous week, but up 1% from the prior 4-week average. Increases were reported showing the breakdown. Philippines took 55,000 metric tons. Thailand took 47,100 metric tons, and Mexico took 45,000 metric tons. Reaction there, wheat was down a penny. Right now, wheat's down a penny and a quarter. So somewhat disappointing numbers, and I think the numbers in cotton was also disappointing, and we're seeing a reaction there. Let's talk about some of the news. This being the 31st of March, we are looking today at a couple of important numbers coming out at 11 o'clock Central Time. We have the acreage intentions, and then past that, we've also got grain quarterly report, quarterly stocks. And so the market will be looking to that 11 o'clock. We'll come on just after that comes out. As we can gather the numbers, we'll report them to you and see what the market reaction is. So let's take a look at some of the analyst comments about these markets and about anticipation of these important numbers coming out. I'll first read from DTN Progressive Farmers and some of their comments about these numbers. Here's what they say. If average pre-report estimates are close to what the USDA unveils in its quarterly stocks report, headlines will likely be deemed as bearish, leading the large computerized fund traders to begin selling again. Initial headlines, at least those few looking at the more important quarterly stocks numbers, will point out that second quarter corn stocks are record large, and third quarter wheat demand tied the weakest on the books. What's interesting about the two markets is that despite recent short covering, the computer funds continue to hold a net short position on both. An aggressive response to expected bearish headlines could erase recent gains by both old crop markets. Looking at what they anticipate these numbers to show, they expect in the corn planting area for they're looking at 90 million acres for corn. In soybeans, they're looking at 82.9 million acres. And in wheat, they expect that number to be 51.7 million acres. Looking at stocks, the anticipation from analysts, the average guess for corn is 7.822 billion bushels. In soybeans, the average guess for this quarterly stocks number is 1.569 billion bushels, and in wheat, the average guess is 1.356 billion bushels. So that's it on that. Let's talk about cotton. and the range of guesses there for acreage, it's a range of 9 million to 9.6 million acres. That's up from last year, which was 8.58 million acres. I'm going to read from DTN some comments made there. And some of this that I'll quote you. Well, let's see first what the actual number they're anticipating. The range of guesses in cotton of 9 million to 9.6. More analysts are coming out thinking we're leaning more toward the higher end of that. And this is what John Bondurant says in this DTN article. He says, Delta growers, Mississippi River Delta growers, are likely to increase their cotton acreage by a fair amount in some areas, says John Bondurant, a Memphis-based trader and Mid-South producer. Bondurant said he personally leans to the higher side of the U.S. estimates. He identified the range from 9 million to 9.6. And this is another comment he made. When growers sell cotton equities at recent new crop value, it's about a total of about 12 cents. The net rebates, quality premiums, and so forth is probably something like 72 cents a pound, Bondurant said. That can be quite profitable for high-yield farmers. A lot of Delta farmers have sold their cotton pickers and aren't going back to cotton, he pointed out previously. Producers apparently have lots of spare picker capacity, however. He said growers who still own pickers probably planted about 50% of their picker capacity last year. So expecting this number to be a stronger number than we once anticipated, primarily due to the Delta area, Mid-South area. Cotton merchants have become very aggressive on what they're offering in an effort to buy acres through this part of the country, and it looks like we're definitely going to see more acres, certainly than we anticipated. You can't look at the board at December cotton at 57.04 and say anywhere just above that is what a farmer's going to get. You know, it pencils out to more like 72 cents, and that's very enticing to farmers through the Mid-South, through the Delta. So let's look one more time at where we are. Cotton's down 32 at 57.35. Soybeans are up a half cent at 909 and a quarter. Corn's up is down a half cent at 366 and a half. Wheat's down a penny at 463. Not a lot of reaction in the grains, but and cotton's actually starting to come back some. We were down 10 just before the report. Now, last trade, we're down 28 at 57.39. So that's it. Thank you for joining us for the E3 Weekly Market Report, and join us just after 11 o'clock as we look at the quarterly grain stocks and also acreage intentions. I look forward to seeing you then. Have a good day.